right, so a little bit of a change up today from the normal Death Shadow regimen. Playing some Blue-Red Murktide. It's a deck that I think I've played like 2 or 3 leagues total with, but a couple people were asking about because it does seem like it would be up my alley a little bit. So figured we would get a few more games in with it, see kind of how it does. Decks very, very well broken down into 3 effective categories. Like you've got clearly defined interaction, you've got clearly defined draw power and card advantage spells, and clearly defined threats. So let's separate those out. But this is like the closest thing Modern has right now to a tempo-ish style. And it's kind of funny because you see a lot of back and forth of whether or not tempo is an actual thing or an actual archetype, or people are very adamant about it either being a real thing or not being real. It's just like mid-range. And to an extent, I think both sides have a little bit of merit, but personally, I believe tempo is a thing, and this kind of personifies it. Like wanting to get down cheap threats, whether it be Channeler, Ragavan, Ledger, Shredder, Murktide for 2, whatever, back them up by cheap interaction, and really take advantage of that mana advantage to get you across the finish line. Sideboard, we've got a bunch of one-ofs, 1 Subtlety, 1 Mystical Dispute, 1 Minor Misstep. I've not played with this card yet, so we're going to see how it goes. 1 Fury, 1 Spyro, and then some 2-ofs with Dress Down, Flusterstorm, Blood Moon, EE, and Unlicensed Hearse. I kind of took like a couple bits and pieces from a few different lists. I knew I wanted to play the full 4 counter spell. I knew I wanted to play at least 2 Murktide. I might actually want to go up to the 3rd, maybe over like the Brazen Borrower. Actually, I think I will do that before we submit anything. Do I want it over the Borrower? Let's put it over the Bolt. All right. We haven't thrown anything up on Stream Decker yet, so it's fine. But I knew I wanted like the full 4 counter spell, and then 4 Channeler, 4 Ragavan. That's about as far as I knew I wanted. Everything else, like whether you go 4 Shredder, 2 Regent, 3 and 3, maybe you don't have Archmage's Charm, find room for the 4th Shredder, whatever. Very, very minor adjustments from here and there, but where are the shadows? They are not in this deck. Death Shadow is a very, very fun archetype. It's a very rewarding archetype. It is not a very financially sustainable archetype. Like, if you play Shadow, you're going to go on some cold streaks, and when that happens, like, you need to change it up, or you're just being, like, fiscally irresponsible. And that's kind of what we're doing today. I know that... So, before we get into the league, I try my absolute best to be as transparent as humanly possible about anything related to the stream or my decisions, anything like that. And the easiest way to break it down is like, I enjoy playing Death Shadow, and I enjoy playing it when I want to play it. I'm fine If like I don't have to put money into Moto, I've got play points. I'm fine if I didn't. If I wanted to play a league, putting the money into playing with Shadow. But ultimately, like I do not make enough from this stream to warrant like throwing a bunch of money into it if the deck isn't performing well. And so it doesn't make much sense for me to come on here day after day and just like throw away virtual currency at Death Shadow all the time, especially when it's in like a little bit of a cold place right now. So playing Murktide is like, hey, let's tread water for a little bit until Shadow's in a better spot, or until we find a list that I don't mind throwing away the equivalent of $10 on, whatever the case may be. And then we'll go back to playing some more Shadow. That is as straightforward as I can possibly make it. I love Shadow. My wallet does not love Shadow. Like, if it were a case where I was making a whole bunch off the stream, then yeah, let's go for the content. Let's play Shadow. But if Shadow's not covering its expenses at the moment, then that's kind of where we're at. All right. Doesn't have a threat, but I've got some filtering. I've got an expressive iteration. I could hold on to this bauble to try to find or in case I find a threat turn 2, but I'd rather use it to filter. So go ahead and get that out of the way. Is it a mirror match? It's not a mirror match. Just living end. Grief, exiling Grief with a Misty. I'm assuming living end, because Scam wouldn't play a Misty Rainforest. Alright. So our sideboard, we do have like 2 Fluster Storms, Minor Misstep, Mystical Dispute. We can't bring in Blood Moon. We've got Unlicensed Hearse. So we've got a bunch of stuff to board in. Started playing Shadow thanks to you. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Like, I have not at all lost my love for Shadow or anything like that. But some days you just need like a change up. Kind of want a Chandler. I just need like a threat. Alright, Counterspell's a really good pickup. Now, if I bolt them, Channeler's online, and hopefully between some of these scries, I can find another threat. Windcaller Avon. So I wonder if this is like not traditional living end. Usually don't expect fetch basic island. Not Electro Dominance, because they'd need double red. Could be like As Foretold living in. But honestly, it gets like the same response every time I play a day without Shadows. It's just a whole lot of, well, where are the shadows? And it's like, okay, I played the last 200 streams with Shadow, and I take one day off, and people get a little emotional. All right, Spell Pierce, also a really good draw. Yep. Cycle away. Mana Confluence, okay. That actually cuts my turn down, or my clock down by a turn. Let's fire off a bolt and see if we can find like another counter spell or something. Maybe this incentivizes them to fire off a living end. Keeping this bauble here because it's like both a surveil trigger and a way to see one card deeper. All right. So let's attack in. When I say see a card deeper, I just mean like if I flip this away, I would see the next card up. Mishra's Bauble, if I don't like the next card up, lets me get rid of that one and then dig into the card after it. I'm going to bin that. Like, Murktide doesn't really change my clock or anything. I'm really just looking for more counter spells. Understood your speech. Let's win the league. That's a good way of looking at it. All right. Really hoping they just go for a main phase something. Ardent Plea. All right. Keep that in case they end up having a grief next turn. So, hiya. Down to two. Two activations of this Mana Confluence. They did miss their fourth land drop. Can't shock that in. So no subtlety to worry about. Alright. Because I can't have Force of Negation on their turn. Or I just don't have another Living End. Or they do. It's like the last card in the deck. Nice. Alright. So we got Hearses, Misstep, Fluster Storms, Mystical Dispute. I know I want these in. Blood Moon is in the realm of possibilities. Like it's really good if I have like turn 2 Blood Moon off of turn 1 Ragavan. But if I don't have that, it's way less exciting. Archmage's Charm, pretty slow on the draw. Borrower doesn't do a lot for me. So maybe I just keep a Bolt in. So now it's like, do I want Living End or do I want Blood Moon or Lightning Bolt? Maybe I board in like one Blood Moon on the draw and maybe go up to the second on the play. And we're just really looking for a hand with like Ragavan, a counter spell, Ragavan 2 counter spells, Ragavan Hearse. Oh. Did they keep or mulligan? I guess I need to pop this out anyway. They kept. I don't really like this hand. If they have a turn 1 grief, I just kind of do nothing. Like they take my Ragavan and I'm just sitting here. If they don't have a grief, I turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 hit, and hit and pray. So I think I mulligan this. This is like a 7 minus a Murktide already. So this is 6. Yeah, I'm shipping this. Okay. It's a little bit better. Go back the Murktide. I'm not playing that out anytime soon. So we get to look at whether this Lightning Bolt would be better as a Blood Moon. Main phase, cycle the Aven. Okay. All right. That's a good draw. That fights through Force of Negation. think I'm going to go for instep bolt them because I think this is like, yeah, kind of likely to bait a violent outburst. Now maybe I don't go for the bolt, just get like a basic island in case I happen to hit the blood moon. So the question is, if I find a blood moon, am I casting it? Probably not. If that's the case, we'll just get a tapped shockland. It's really good, but I don't think I can afford to cast that. Oh, what are the size on these? 4-3, 5-5, 3-3. See, I have a question about the deck tech reward. Can we ask you for any archetype? Yeah, you can ask for whatever deck you'd like. I just can't guarantee that if it's not like shadow related, I'll have perfect input on it. But more than welcome to ask about whatever you'd like to ask about. All right. Fourth land, really, really good. That lets me have double counter spells up. I really need a turn where they go for like a main phase cascade spell, so that then I can untap and play the hearse. Or this is fine too. All right. So let's try to get the hearse going. So wind caller I can bolt. So let's get rid of curator. Curator and a river winder. So I'll force of vigor and foundation breakers. Now I'm less likely to bring in the extra blood moon. DKC9, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday, wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. They might have like a subtlety. I don't think I have to fire something off right now. we got? You're clearly thinking about something. Kind of wonder why they didn't just like hard cast the Foundation Breaker. Yeah, this game's definitely a war of attrition at the moment. Honestly, I don't think I want this right now. I think this is better off in my grave. Might be a little greedy, but I'm just kind of like waiting for my opponent to slip up one time. And I really don't want to tap off of double counterspell. Well, technicalities, that's not tapping off double counterspell. It's like endurance. They're gonna Sky Turtle Architects of Will. Sure. That seems like a strange one to go for. This suspend a living end. Okay. It's suspended for 3 turns. So maybe they've just been like drawing all of their living ends. All right. Well, we're definitely getting the shredder out now. I don't think I want to bolt them. I think I want to wait till next turn so I can like shredder plus bolt. Or if they put something on the stack, I can. They just get this back to cycle it. Like I think my only goal is to be able to untap the turn they try to go off with living in with all of my mana available and as many counter spells as I can have. What's this? Are they suspending another living end? No. They did. Why do they keep tapping like 5 or 6 mana to do this? Slightly lost there. All right. Shredder. Channeler. Get Shredder triggers. Misty. I'll take a Misty. Ditch the extra channeler. So now we're hitting for 2 down to 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn. If they cast some spells, we can definitely trigger both of these shredders to get up to lethal. So I think it's if they put any creature, like cast a spell on the stack, we win. It kind of seems like they just have a handful of like force of negations or something. Um, 3 cards left. 1, 2. They force or mystical dispute is 3. I'm just trying to map out like, okay, if I counterspell this and they like force of negation hard cast my counterspell, then I can let this resolve and then I'm still covered. All right. Something else to go on the stack. Nope. All right. Would have to be like end of turn outburst plus force of negation, untap, living end with another force. That sound about right? All right. So going to their turn is great for me. Obviously, my 27 counter spells. Would you like to put a living end on the stack? I would like to put a counter spell on the stack. Nope. All right. So I can just Blusterstorm the force of negation. Don't need a Murktide. Rise or Die finally managed to catch a stream and watching all your YouTube videos. Thanks so much for stopping by. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Even if we're not playing Death Shadow today. Sure. That's gone. Alright. Do you have another Cascade spell? It would appear so. It does not find a living end, so GG's. Nice. Alright, match number 2. All I gotta do is see all of your counter spells against living end. It's fine. Yesterday I played Grixis and Local Storm, faced 2 4-color elementals. Tough match. Yeah, that is a very rough one. Solitudes and Furies and Omnaths. But yeah, how did those matches go for you? Did you feel like you had a chance, or they feel pretty tough? I'm gonna keep and hope we're not against opposing Ragavan. Opponent mold to 6 though, so I definitely don't want to throw back a functional 7. Windswept Heath. Heath for Hallowed Fountain. Okay, I have no idea. Just Hammertime. Alright, so if I gotta let him draw a card to spell pierce like a Sigarda's Aid, it's definitely worth it. Shadow Spear is fine. Wish I had something to do with my mana here. I really don't want to let them like draw a card off consider and then untap and draw another card and Esper Sentinel and Saga might just kind of run away with it. But we'll see. Felt like I could win every match with 4 colors, always grinding the brink of victory. When both players run out of resources and it comes to top deck, it's really tough. Yeah, you definitely have to find like an extra copy of Drown in the Loch or something in the mid to late game to help close it out. Like you have to be able to counter an Omnath or a Solitude or something down the stretch to get across the finish line. Dress Down's really good at stopping the triggers, but even if they don't exile your thing off a Solitude, just having like a 3/2 life-linking body can mean it's an extra turn or 2 or 3 or 4 before you can actually close the game out. And that's a really, really big setback. All right. Third land's what I was afraid of. But all right. Guess we're just looking for like some sort of red-based removal. Extra land is okay. We're gonna like spell pierce this. Close. All right. We're gonna get to draw. Brutal. So this is make a 3/3 untap, make a 4/4, tutor up becomes a 5/5, animating moth at the 6/6. So I don't believe we're gonna be able to keep up with that pace wise. Yep. Like even if we make a big Murktide, don't believe it's doing enough for us here. So what do we have in the sideboard for this matchup? Dress Downs, Fury, Minor Misstep, Blood Moon, EE. So we got some stuff. It's not quite hopeless. Now, if they just have like Land Stone Forge, have to be like White Land Stone Forge for Hammer, Pure Steel. And they could kill here. I guess if they just have Pure Steel Hammer, they could kill, but I feel like if they had a hammer, they would have played it out. If they had Pure Steel and Hammer, I think they would have played out Hammer last turn for the extra point of damage. Yep. Now I know they can animate these 2 Ink Moth Nexus. Or you can just have another Ginger Brute, sure. We'll see what they do. Yeah, why not? We're up like 5 minutes on clock, so. Like, I know they can animate the Ink Moth Nexus. I know, but I'm not winning this game if they don't make a mistake by, like, not animating. Yeah. So if the only way I can win this game is for them messing up, then I might as well put myself in the best position if they do mess up. Maybe they're just deciding whether or not to go for it, but I think you do. Like, worst case scenarios, I've got a bolt or an unholy heat, and I kill something, in which case. Oh, yeah, it's got trample. Never mind. It's fine. Alright. Hearse is coming in. Fury. Blood Moons, especially on the play. Misstep. Dress Downs. I don't think this is a subtlety matchup. Could be wrong. If y'all know more than I do, please let me know. Counterspell I know is pretty meh. Ragavans. I want like the first Ragavan. I really don't want the second Ragavan. It's like if the first one's getting stonewalled, then the second one's getting stonewalled. Probably board out a Merc. Wondering how much I want to respect Sanctifier on Vec. Let's go like that. All right, they mulliganed. Basically, just keeping these or this hand because of these considers. Pass the turn, hold up, consider in case they put like an Esper Sentinel on the stack or Spell Pierce if they go for like a Sigarda's Aid. People keep adding more copies of Sanctifier to sideboards. It's funny because, like, towards the end of last year, a lot of the Hammertime lists were completely cutting Sanctifier from the board. Like, literal 0 copies in the list showing up in, like, the challenge top 8s and whatnot. But every single time I would run into Hammertime in, like, the leagues or challenge or whatever, post board, they would have multiple copies of Sanctifier. And it's like one of those cards that, for whatever reason, the lists that do well didn't have them, didn't want them, didn't need them. But the generic lists out there in the wild were on like 3 of them. The same kind of thing happened with Shadow recently. Is the lists that were showing up in like the challenges, or lack thereof, the 5-0s, all had like 3 copies of Underworld Breach, no Spell Pierce in the main, and a lot of them would have random things like what's it called? Um, Fable of the Mirror Breaker or something like that in the main, and then they would just never show up again. You'd have like a one-time list with a bunch of random stuff, and then never see a list like it again. All right, good pickup. Countered the Springleaf Drum, so if they had a follow-up land to it, they wouldn't be able to, like a follow-up 0-drop, they wouldn't be able to use that mana right away. Don't think I want a Ragavan. We'll take another land. Well, you say you don't want a Ragavan, you don't really get a choice in the matter, do you? See, one of the few that insists on Spell Pierce. I also like it. Yeah, I love it. Like, I don't think it's an absolute necessity, but I think it's really, really good. Tried one copy of Spyro and GDS yesterday, following some trend, but didn't like it. I played Grixis with a couple copies of Spyro, and honestly didn't mind it. Am I playing this Esper Sentinel? I feel like not. I kind of want to have all my mana available so I can try to consider an Unholy Heat and get Murktide down. I didn't mind the Spyro. There were a lot of times it would actually really save my ass against like Blood Moon, but it wasn't a card that was, oh my god, I have to run this. But I did not like Fable of the Mirror Breaker at all when I tried it. Sorry, Brazy B. Do I want Unholy Heat? Get these extra cards in the yard. All right, so now Iteration is going to give me Delirium. If I find a land, I can get Murktide down. Got to keep that, right? It's pretty good at answering Saga tokens. Ooh. Land. They're going to make a token. We are going to Unholy Heat said token. Keep a land so I can for sure double spell next turn. Okay. Yep. Who saw that one coming? There she blows. I guess I could have attacked first. Whoops. I didn't even realize that I had delirium. That was 100% on me. 3 points of damage missed. Okay. Reality chip. Okay. So I have to hope they don't do anything too crazy right here. So that I can, into their turn, dress down. Or I was going to say if they decide to attack. That works. Hammers. Oh, wait. Am I just dead? I'm not dead, but I can't attack, right? No, I can't attack. I can attack with a Murktide because the Channeler is going to become delirious again when the dress down sacrifices itself. So would I miss lethal? If I'd attacked with the Channeler last turn, they'd be at 6. Yeah. I could have dressed down into their turn. Or I wouldn't have had the mana to kill them this turn, but I would have found the second bolt to have lethal on board. So, yes and no. I'm going to say no because I wouldn't have been able to actually kill them that turn. All right. Personally, I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. It's like, you know that I know you have a hammer. I bobbled you, you drew the hammer. You know I know you have it. Sure. I don't like just throwing out that ink moth attack. And I kind of get the idea of like, oh, well, we're not going to show you. We've got the hammer, or better yet, if you don't block, I hammer. If you do block, then I blacksmith skill, but I really don't feel like that accomplishes anything. Like, you know that I'm blocking 100%. And this is a really big crackback hit to take. I guess if you wanted to be completely perfect in your play, the better line would have been to cast the lightning bolt pre-combat and then play the Murktide and attack with this Murktide. But we're not here for optimal play. We're here for casting Murktides. All right. Am I supposed to bring in subtlety for Sanctifier? Is that like enough of a reason? We'll find out. I don't know. Haven't played this matchup much, if at all. All right. That is an Esper Sentinel. I'm gonna feel bad if their turn 2 is like land the Gardazaid hammer, but I think I'd rather save this Unholy Heat in case they have like a Stone Forge and get a Cauldra. If you want to wait for the Blacksmith skill, that's fine. Yep. Oh boy. Subtlety, a good sideboard card. It accomplishes the tempo play, but doesn't look that good. I don't know. I haven't played with it. But a lot of the lists I saw were running it, so here we are. Another Blacksmith skill. Like, I mean, pretty glad to just get a bunch of Blacksmith skills out of hand. What, no Death Shadow? You already missed that joke. It's already come and gone. Sword of Fire and Ice. Can we do anything against Sword of Fire and Ice? Into the Steel Shaper's Gift for Cauldra. That is what they would call brutal. Alright. Another E. Alright. Not sure what we can possibly find to get out of this. Especially once the sword gets down. Alright. Shadow Sphere, honestly, a whole lot less scary than a Sword of Fire and Ice. Yep. Do I have an out? Dress down? I think dress down's my only possible out. At least make him think about this EE over here. Dress down? Yep. All right. So dress down would get rid of all the power. Or no, what is it? It keeps the power, gets rid of all the protections and everything. So I'm still chump blocking, but is that right? It's a layering thing, and I can't remember the layers. Like, it's the one that adds power and toughness or modifies creatures like higher, lower. Swish Gaming coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Hope you had an awesome stream. B77, that's it. All right, so it keeps the power and toughness, loses the protections and triggers and whatnot. Welcome, everybody, from the raid there. If it's your first time here, my name's Michael, Control Freak on Magic Online. Play a lot of Modern. Usually a lot of Death Shadow. Today we're mixing it up and playing some Murktide. So hope you enjoy. We beat up on Living In round 1. We just lost to Hammertime round 2. Esper Sentinel is a bitch and a half of a card. Now we're on to round 3. Reasonable enough hand. You chum need to draw into dress down plus heat plus bolt heat. Don't think that's possible after those 2 brutal bobble draws. Yeah, after the draws, definitely not, but for the draws, maybe. All right. Marsh Flats go. What does Marsh Flats go? Tell me. No companion. Maybe Scam. Maybe. Triumph. All right. Well, no longer Abzan. Really don't know what we're up against. I think I'm going to hold up some spells. Dotha Triome, Rogren Triome. So just like a 4-color, generic 4 or 5 color pile deck. Shocking Godless Shrine. All right, I'm lost. Is this a Rhinos deck? Shocking Godless Shrine. Shocking Godless Shrine do nothing. I don't have a clue now. I'm lost. So we've got an Abzan Triome, a Jeskai Triome, a Godless Shrine that they shocked in. Now a Hallowed Fountain that they're playing tapped. I would like to throw a lightning bolt at your face. Sure. I have zero idea if that's good or bad or what. I guess I'm gonna dash a Ragavan. Am I winning? I have no idea at the moment. I don't have a clue what my opponent's playing. All right, we've got a Grief. That's the first halfway relevant card I've seen. Shadow Prophecy. Okay, so it is some sort of like pile deck. Esper Gorios. Like Esper Gorios with the Leyline binding. Okay, I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, there's a Faithful Mending. Okay. Pieces are kind of starting to come together, I guess. I would like to attempt to spell pierce a Teferi. Esper Gorios, eh? Gotta have a leyline binding, right? Yeah. Sure. Really don't want to tap off this charm. If I had another land, I would unholy heat my own Ragavan just to try to get Delirium. Oh boy. At least if they have like an Ephemerate, we've got that covered, right? Okay. Probably save Ephemerate for Atraxa. I mean, that only makes sense if they live for Atraxa, right? You don't want to save it for a card that end up like dying before that card comes down. Stuff is happening. Think. There's a collective brutality in the yard. That's a really good draw. Need like counter spells. I guess. Show me Delirium. That is Delirium. Also, to a lesser extent, Delirium. All right. We got Discarded some stuff that doesn't matter. Yep. All right. So we had a bunch of turns and then nothing happened. Always fun. Something between that stuff. If they have grief, I guess I'm assuming they've got solitude as well. I don't want Spyro. Oh boy. Pretty mopey hand, right? Kept their 7. Would I keep this as a 6 of 3 lands, 3 spells? Knew it. Knew it. Oh my god. Deck. I knew as soon as I threw that hand back, I was going to get an unkeepable 6. I didn't expect it to be no land 6, no land 5, no land 4, but just knew without a shadow of a doubt. It's like the Magic Online way. If you have a 7 that is anywhere close to playable, do not throw it back, because this program will make sure you do not get a keepable 6. So you might as well look at that 7 and say, like, all right, is this playable at 5? If yes, keep. Yep. You have the Teferi. Yep. All right, let's go to game 3. It's just like Magic Online. You got to give me like a little bit of a chance here. Just give me like a little bit, little taste of a possibility of keeping one of those hands. Like honestly, if the 6 or 5 was 1 land, keep all day. Nope. All right, Magic Online rules got to keep. All right, something good. I would like to see Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Counterspell. I just got Ephemerate Grief on one. Yep. Okay. It's a playable card. Something to deal with grief. Nope. All right. Show me Faithful Mending. Grief plus Ephemerate is like so much better than Grief plus an Undying effect. Trading 3 cards for 3 cards instead of 3 cards for 3 cards of yours for 2 cards of theirs. Okay. So look, 3 deep, get 2 cards, lose 2 life. I think Ledger Shredder's doing enough for me. Really just want an answer to this grief. Fetching down. Bold. Bold, bold, bold. Gonna get out of this. Yes! No business deserved, or no business winning that game. That match. All right. Win a die roll. Love to see it. So this is match number 4. Keep. Opponent revealed a Gigantha. So let's go. Spire Bluff, go. Hold on to this bobble for turn 2 Shredder. Cookbook. All right. Let's go. Playing a tiered deck. I think you're the only one so far that hasn't come into the chat asking why no Death Shadows over and over again. Alright, so got the Daredevil. Profane Tutors. Yes, fine. Oh. Hold up. Hold up. This wasn't what we signed up for. And Modern's a turn 4 format. Bullshit. Alright. Notice we got paired against 2 Goryo's Vengeance decks in a row. What are the odds on that one? Alright, so Hearse fights over Vengeance. Blood Moon fights over the lands in Saga. Flusterstorm fights over Goryo's Vengeance. Just take out a few pieces of spot removal. Archmage's Charm can steal an Asmo, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, Dadox. I saw this deck once. I think it was like towards the top 8 of Young Dingo's tournament. Somebody was playing it. And that's the only reason I have like any idea what's going on with it. But it's just like a Golgari food deck and just has backdoor Goryo's Vengeance for something good. All right. Land is a really, really good draw there. So now I can Shredder, Bobble, without having to worry about not being able to hold up Spell Pierce for like a Goryo's Vengeance. 3 hit. Catacombs, sure. It's just the world we live in. Getting Goryos'd for an Emrakul on turn 2. Way to consider. Now we've got Bolt for Asmo. Spell Pierce for Goryo's Vengeance. Something that could be confused for a clock. They're ditching an Asmo. I have to assume they've got another Asmo. Yeah. Did they? Yeah, they did search up a cookbook. So they kill the Shredder. That's fine. – There's this cookbook. Gigantha must be wondering what the fuck's going on. Gigantha is about the most unnecessary piece of cardboard here. Not sure about that Pierce. I mean, maybe. Kind of just don't want them making like infinitely large constructs. I don't really have a clock going on, so. No way they don't make a construct and try to block, right? Play Shredder, then bolt the construct. I mean, like, I'm missing out on a counter, but does that counter really matter? Because, like, I'm not discarding the dress down while they've got a saga out. So I'm just like drawing and discarding whatever the next card is, and I don't really know if I want to loot it away. Oh, you're gonna Gorya's Vengeance this? It still has haste. Why does it still have haste? What am I missing about Gorya's Vengeance? Oh, it's called it gains haste after dress down's still around. That's right. All right, so if we're gonna play this this hindsight game, yep, you could have played Murktide the same turn. Cool. I wouldn't have had it dressed down. My opponent would have Goryo's Vengeance and Emrakul, and I would have lost my entire board, Murktide, and the Ragavan. So, like, if we want to go down this whole route of hindsight, you should have done this. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a winning argument right now. You could have played the Murktide. Yeah, and I would have just been dead on board. So, not sure that was the answer. One, two, three, four, five, six. Not quite. No sense playing Goryo when they cast Stress down. I mean, you run the risk of me drawing a counter spell if you don't. So they just kind of made a hasty 15-15. Now they've got a mountain. Okay. A little unfortunate. Well, don't think Fatal pushing anything does anything for me. So. So, we won this game because we did not loot away that dress down or play a Murktide Regent. All I'm saying. All I'm saying. It's funny if nothing else. We'll call that a what is it? The correct answer with the wrong formula. Oh, I want this extra Flusterstorm. Goryo's Vengeance looks a little scary, right? No. I don't want to keep it, but again, I think Moto's gonna make me keep it here. Yep. Oh boy. Keep a 4-lander, draw a 5th. What you love to see. They suspend a Profane Tutor. We have just made their Scourge of the Sky Claves online. Punt. Oh, I feel like I just have to get this down. If they have Cookbook, Emrakul, Goryo's Vengeance in hand, sucks. Technically, I'm not dead to it. Me and my big mouth. Just double Cookbook. Okay. This is interesting. Dogfish, yeah, we're attempting to Murktide some fools. Alright, what do we think that our opponent can do with no green or black mana? Slash, do we think it's enough to kill us? That's fine. Who cares, moon them out? The real answer. The real men's answer. What can my opponent do? Don't give a shit. I got a blood moon. That's his problem to figure out. I got a blood moon. Opponent's sandbagging that swamp so hard. They could cast Asmo. You are correct. But they like get Asmo, kill Ledger Shredder. We Channeler, kill Asmo. Played Scam for the first time forever. Trophy first run out. Why Scam gotta be OP? Because Scam. Scammer's gonna scam. Okay. Scammer's gonna scam. Cookbook's gonna cook. No, I think they tutored the Asmo. The Asmorano Mordecai Stina Kuldakar. Good draw. Okay. So I think this is just Bolt Asmo, EE on 1, wipe out all the cookbooks. I just want to think before I do anything. I don't believe there's a better line than that. We've got all 4 cookbooks in front of us. So, Bolt you. EE on 1. Pop. Pass the turn. I say once more. There we go. Get there eventually. Okay. What now? Jaggy. Jaggy. Here's a channeler. Here's an iteration. Nope. I understand, OP. I've been there. You're like, oh my god, they just had the nuts, and then they untapped and like threat plus iteration, and you're just like, son of a bitch, they've got everything. I know, OP, I hate it too. You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Blood Mooner versus Virgin Cautious player. Jesus. Yo, yeah, I screw. I've been there. Like, I have been on the shadow side, locked out of a Blood Moon, and my opponent just draws their one card, no cards in hand, draw up to 1, put an expressive iteration on the stack, put like a Murktide to exile, play it. I find a swamp, play out like my 6/6 shadow, and they're like, wholly heat it with my other card in hand. Game over. And it's like, yeah, that was good, interesting back and forth magic. I really felt like I put up a fight. It's like, I don't know what I did during that game, but obviously it was very impactful. You were afraid, on the back foot the entire time. All right. Wooded Foothills would lead me to assume that my opponent's got a Renin 6 on turn 2. So I'm going to hold up Counterspell for that. As we see with the Indomitable Creativity in Exile, there's a reasonable chance that our opponent is on an Indomitable Creativity deck. And they have a tendency to have Renin 6 on turn 2 100% of the time. So I feel like if I can profitably interact with that, I probably want to. It's not like a maybe they have it a decent number of times. Like, no, they have it every time. Also, my goal for this game is to cast an opponent's Archon by the end of it. Do I just want to throw a bunch of threats out there? So, Shredder to hand, Channeler to exile. think I am. I'm just throwing a bunch of dudes out. This looks bad into a fire and ice, but looks really good into a. I guess Ren's kind of whatever. Gus, what's up? Thanks so much for the 6-month Prime resub. Welcome back to the subscribers. I didn't realize I was subbing to a dirty Merc player. Same. You're gonna go to. You do trigger everything. Maybe I want you. Yeah, we'll keep you. I would like to find a counterspell if possible. Nope. Counterspell, that is not. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Something. Go. All I got. Probably not going to do it. Big brain. Big brain. I did thing. I did thing. My opponent didn't draw a card. All right. On to game 2. We have got Blood Moons, EEs, Flusterstorm, to a lesser extent, Mystical Dispute. Don't really care about Borrower, Charms. Charms okay, I guess. Oh, and Gus following over there on the YouTubes. Thank you very much. I am gonna do that double sub to your YouTube with both my profiles. Nice. That's what I love to see. I'm gonna drop the link to chat as well. I am really making a push to grow YouTube. So if you were at all interested in checking out some of like the content over there, it's leagues, challenges. I do a lot of leagues that go straight to YouTube as well that we don't stream. So if you're wanting to check that out, there's a link in chat now. Greatly appreciate a follow over on YouTube. It's kind of confusing because like if you tell people, oh, if you don't mind subbing over on YouTube, then they kind of think it's like not Facebook, think it's like Twitch where you have to pay for a sub, but YouTube's subscription is just like a follow for a channel. So if you hear me say like, oh, go subscribe over on YouTube, I don't mean, hey, go throw a bunch of money at the YouTube channel. I mean, like, just go drop a follow if you don't mind. If you do mind, then, well, I guess forget this conversation. But it does greatly help help keep the content up. Plus, there's a lot of times that like I'll consider streaming and end up not being able to, so I'll do like a league off stream and try to post it on YouTube. That's a good draw. Hiya. Hiya, I say. Never lucky enough to hit your opponent's Renin 6. Or I'll hit my opponent's Renin 6, but it's always on like turn 12 or something where I don't need a Renin 6. And they're just like, here's a Renin 6. I'm like, I don't want a Renin 6. I'm like, too bad. We said, here's a Renin 6. Alright. Hiya. Leyline binding my Ragavan. No. I need that. Alright. Greed or safety? Where's my coin? Heads. We greed for the land. Tails. We play safely and hold up counterspell. Survey says tails. We play it safely and hold up counterspell. But at the same time, am I countering a what's it called? I'm being greedy. I'm overriding the coin. It's a terrible decision. I shouldn't do it. That is why we get heavy punished. My thought was like, I'm probably not countering a, what's it called anyway? The 3-mana thing. You know. Thing with the cards. And the... What's the name of that? Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That one. Alright, OP. I know you want to go down to Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take it to Bermuda, Bahama. Please don't cast Veil of Summer. Yep. Playing mostly Pioneer, completely forgot about Veil. You can never forget about Veil. It's there all the time, taunting you constantly. And the Pierce. So you're going to try to get... Am I just paying the 2? Probably. Hiya. Segu. They're drawing up to, or going up to five with land drops, 6 mana here. Just want to make sure I'm not in danger of them like hard casting an Archon, which at least at the moment I'm not. Turn the Earth. 3 target cards in graveyards. The owner of those cards shuffles them into their libraries. You gain 2 life. Okay. So I know that they have a Veil of Summer. Don't believe there's much I can do here. I know they've got another Spell Pierce, right? I think. Pierce, Veil of Summer, unknown. Pierce, Veil of Summer, unknown. 100% paying for this because why not? Oh, multiples. Okay. Yeah, Veil of Summer is a very magic card, if you ask me. Might be biased, but give another turn the Earth. Okay. All right. Well, if we can find a threat, we can beat. What's it called? We can beat Veil of Summer. We need to find like a Murktide, like now. I guess that's fine. That's fine. 4-turn clock for both of us, but we get the first attack. I guess it's a little bit worse for us. I was gonna say I will 100%. I just flashback turn the Earth. So this is 1 spell, 2 spell. If I counterspell is 3, they Veil is 4. Shredder, iteration. I assume this takes me off Delirium. Nope. If they have a spell pierce, they can pierce the counter spell, but I still keep delirium. Yeah, probably not worth it. Another Prismari command. Ew. Ew. Murktide. Murktide, Murktide, Murktide. That's probably okay. Maybe. I don't know. I think they're supposed to end a turn, copy the Goblin Shaman there. I don't really know why they're doing this on their main. They could have had an extra Goblin attacking here. So we block the original because the token's going away end of turn. They're just going to kind of creativity the board. Converting on Spell Pierce. Love to see it. Nope. Yep. Get out of here. I would like to dash a ravioli. Sorry, opponent's at 7 life. On to game number trace. Game numero trace. What am I changing up? Ragavan's a lot worse on the draw than the play. Handerstone, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming around, hanging out, checking out some shadow action. Maybe I'd want subtlety here. Stop like a Teferi. That Pierce did feel good. That was like a Pierce. I'm bringing a subtlety over. And then I still have another card. Spyro. No. I'll just keep a Ragavan in. I don't want to be like too greedy with Turn the Earth. That card kind of scares me. All right. We're doing one thing and one thing only. And that's pray to the old gods that this plan works. Go. No, Ren is super nice. Second land is also super nice. Did they just miss their third land drop? Ooh, doggy. Right? So that means I don't have to just like aggressively throw out anything. Come on. Fourth land. Fourth land. That's all I want. Not quite. All right. We go for the Pierce to try to bait the Veil or their Pierce. No, I don't think I will pay the 2. And we evoke the Subtlety, getting rid of the counter spell. Target you. Opponent puts the Ren on top. We get the island. We play the Blood Moon. And we pray. Okay. We knew that was a possibility. Play the Shredder. We heat the token. Do the drawing and the discarding. And the passing of the turn. Nice Leyline binding. Be a shame if you never got to cast it. You can go to hand. You're going bottom, exile. Go ahead and cast the second one. Get the Ledger Shredder trigger. You're going to hand. You're on the bottom. You're on exile. Go, Power Shredder. Mighty Morphin Power Shredder. Oh, yeah, you could just do this. Damn it. We punted. I completely forgot that I was flipping this turn. I don't know why I was like, oh, it's flipping next turn. It's fine. It's not. Not fine at all. Unholy Heat off the top. All right, punt. Punt. I'm adding it to the punt count. Oh, man. For some reason, I was like, in my head, oh, Fable's at 2. I passed the turn. It's only at 2. They don't flip until the turn after. Like, I just skipped over the tick up Fable in my head just did not register. And our pity chest has a Triskelion. Nice. Okay. So that one, I feel bad about that one, obviously. All we had to do was counter the creativity there. But yeah, I have no explanation for that whatsoever. I was just so in my head thinking, oh yeah, I passed the turn. Saga's on 2. They ditched 2, whatever. I did not think about, oh yeah, Saga's already on 2. Ah, man. All right, so 3-2. Very well could have been a 4-1 there. If not for my take the ball, punt it 65 yards, 7-minute hang time. But felt fine. Like, some changes I'm thinking of making for the next league. I probably don't want Archmage's Charm. Brazen Borrower never came up. And Archmage's Charm was like too slow against everything that we were seeing. So I think I'd rather go up to like 4th Ledger Shredder and maybe like a Spell Snare. Maybe a Spell Snare. Or just like 4th Shredder, 4th Bolt. We could try that. Add a bolt. 4th Shredder, 4th Bolt. And then in the sideboard, I didn't really see any matchups that I wanted. Spyro. Or I guess we saw, what's it called? Hammertime. So I think I might swap out the Spyro for an Abrade and give that a shot. Why I have 7 Abrades, I have no idea.